Hello friends, welcome to my cooking channel. Today we have a special recipe that will conquer you at first sight and bite. I am going to make a delicious honey cake with tender strawberry filling. Imagine, soft honey cake soaked in buttercream and juicy strawberry filling in every bite. This cake will be the centerpiece of any table and will give you unforgettable pleasure. Stay tuned to learn all the secrets of making this masterpiece and please your loved ones. There are many variations of honey cake, but I believe this is an improved version of honey cake. Let's get started. Let's start with the preparation of the cakes. They can be prepared in advance and stored hermetically for up to 2 weeks, and assemble the cake on the eve of the holiday. You will need 2 eggs, 100 grams, 150 grams of sugar, 2 grams of salt, 100 grams of honey, 100 grams of butter, 5 grams of baking soda, 400 grams of flour. In a saucepan, send eggs, sugar, honey. Detailed description will be under the video. Stir to make the mass homogeneous. Add butter, cut into small pieces. And the saucepan is sent to the stove and with constant stirring bring to a boil, but do not boil at medium temperature. As soon as the mixture begins to bubble, remove the pan from the heat. Pour the baking soda into the hot mixture. Stir well, the soda reacts with the honey and the mass begins to lighten and increase in volume and foam is formed. Now this mass should be cooled to a warm state. You can leave it at room temperature, or if you are in a hurry and want to cool it faster, you can put it in a large container with ice water. Stir occasionally. When the dough has cooled down, the temperature should not exceed 35 degrees, add the sifted flour in small portions and stir with a silicone spatula. This is the dough. It is sticky, but I do not use additional flour, and to roll it out easily you need to keep it in the refrigerator. To do this, I transfer the dough to cling film or can be in a bag and form a rectangular layer, wrapped and sent to the refrigerator for about an hour. You can prepare the dough in advance, it will keep well in the refrigerator and can even be frozen. While the dough is cooling, prepare the strawberry filling. For this we will need 200 grams of strawberry puree, fresh or thawed strawberries pureed with a mixer and passed through a sieve, 20 grams of sugar, 10 grams of cornstarch. Since now I do not have a season of strawberries and strawberries are difficult to find, I use ready-made strawberry puree. You can use any other berries, but I think that they were with sourness. You can use raspberries or blueberries, blackberries or passion fruit. In a thick-bottomed saucepan I send the puree, sugar and add starch, mix everything thoroughly with a whisk and send the saucepan to the stove and with constant stirring bring the mass to the boil and boil for 30 seconds to thicken the mass. In the end you get this kind of strawberry confit. When completely cooled, it will be a little thicker. The filling can also be prepared in advance and stored in the refrigerator until the cake is assembled. I put it in a pastry bag and put it in the fridge until it cools down completely. Return to the refrigerated dough. After the refrigerator, the dough is less sticky and dense. I will prepare a cake with a diameter of 18 centimeters, and for this I divide in 12 equal parts. But you can, and with the help of scales to divide. Each piece roll to a ball and make it a cake and carefully roll out. I do it immediately on a Teflon mat, but you can use siliconized paper for baking so that the cakes do not stick. I sprinkle the cake with flour to prevent the rolling pin from sticking and roll out a cake 18 centimeters in diameter. Since I like the cakes to be thin, if you like the cakes thicker, you can divide the dough into a smaller number of cakes and your cakes will be thicker accordingly. I use a ring or you can use a plate of the desired size. I do not cut out a circle at once. Rolled out dough pierced with a fork and sent to a preheated oven to 180 degrees Celsius mode top-bottom without convection. The cakes are baked very quickly in a few minutes, so keep in mind that the cakes do not burn and overdrying in the oven is also not necessary so that the cakes remain tender. Bake them until lightly browned. While one cake is baking, I roll out the next one, bake the cakes very quickly, and get such a conveyor. It doesn't take long. Our cake is ready and while it is still hot, I cut it with a ring to the necessary diameter and put it on a grid until it cools down completely. You can see that the crust separates well from the mat. There are also scraps, we will need them to make crumbs. And then roll out the next cake on the same mat, not forgetting the cake that is in the oven. Stack the cakes. When I cut the cakes after baking, they are more even and round, and picking up the cake is easier. To assemble the honey cake, use different cream, but I like it better and it is easy to prepare. For this I use 800 grams of cream, 33 to 35%, 70 grams of powdered sugar and vanilla. Instead of cream, you can use sour cream or a ratio of 400 grams of cream and 400 grams of sour cream, but where I live sour cream is brackish and therefore I do not like the taste of sour cream and I use only cream. The cream is airy and delicate. The cream should be very cold. And I whip first on medium speed, then on high and until thick, making sure not to overwhip the cream. If you are adding sour cream, add it after the cream is whipped and stir with a spatula. Then in a separate bowl I separate 100 grams of cream, we will need it for the top crust and sides. And the remaining cream divided into 10 parts, as I have 12 cakes, one I left on the sprinkles. It turns out there are 11 cakes and there are 10 layers, so you can cook on a scale and the remaining cream divided into 10. The weight of the finished cream 870 grams minus 100 grams that we set aside remains 770 grams of cream and divide by 10 received 77 grams of about each cake. And then the cream you have a perfect distribution and enough for all the cakes. And in every second layer I add strawberry jam. In total I get 5 layers. Jam was 200 grams. Respectively 40 grams of jam on a layer. I siphon the jam with a pastry bag in circles, and then do not level, but just cover the next cake on top. The last cake is not covered with cream. Then wrapped in acetate film and fix the sliding ring to make the cake was even and put away in the refrigerator for 6 to 8 hours, usually overnight. When the cake has settled and stabilized, remove the ring and the acetate film and decorate the cake. There are 2 options, such as a simpler top smear cream and cover with crumbs that we prepared from scraps of dough. And decorate the top with fresh berries or separately prepare cream cheese and level the cake, this cream and decorate as you wish. But my cake was on order and so I chose the second option. I separately made cream cheese to level the top of the cake, set aside a third of the cream and painted in chocolate color to make an inscription on the cake. I'd like to tell you a little about the history of honey cake. Legend has it that the first medovik was created in the 1820s by the personal cook of the wife of the Russian Emperor Alexander I. Strange as it may seem, the legend of medovik begins with the fact that Elizabeth Alexievna could not tolerate honey, so all the court cooks never used it in their recipes. However, there was a young and ambitious cook who had just been hired to work in the palace kitchen. At the same time, the kitchen was ordered to create something new. The cooks worked day and night to create new desserts, but only the new cook's cake was appreciated by the empress. Layers of delicate pastry and classic custard literally melted in the mouth. When the empress inquired about the ingredients used to make the cake, the young cook was at a loss to answer, for it was only after the dessert was served that he learned of Elizabeth's aversion to honey. Fortunately for the cook, when the empress learned that she was being served a honey cake, she just laughed and ordered that the brave man be rewarded. From then on, medovik became Elizabeth's favorite dessert and was served at every royal banquet. We are sure that after such a story you will want to try the taste of your favorite dessert. So I applied the cream, which I set aside on the sides, smoothed with a spatula and sprinkled the sides with crumbs, which I did in the following way: trimmings from the cakes and plus 1 cake I grated on a grater and got a fine crumb. Then I put some cream cheese on it and spread it with a hot spatula. And then you can decorate as you like. Thank you for joining us and watching our recipe for honey cake with strawberry filling. We hope you enjoyed making this delicious dessert with me. Subscribe to my channel, leave likes and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss any of my new recipes. See you soon and enjoy.